Hello, hello, hello. And we're live.
Hello, what's going on, guys?
Welcome, welcome, everybody. My name is Vonel Lamore, and I'll allow everyone to introduce themselves. Lance, we have you on mute. You might want to unmute yourself. We are on episode number 4 for 5 Reasons. This is the 5 Reasons podcast, and we're live from your living room or your office or your road or your phone or wherever you're tuning in from. We're live here on Facebook and YouTube. You can catch us on the 5 Reasons LLC, the 5 Reasons brand LLC group. So without further ado and notice, we have a special guest today that has blessed us with the opportunity to speak and to provide some information about what he does and what he has going on. And then of course we have the co-host Gerlitz. So you guys want to introduce yourselves and say hello to the public.
Sure, I'll take the lead on this. So my name is Harold Roy. I go by Roy. I am the co-founder and executive director of EpiCare Incorporated. EpiCare stands for Emergency Preparedness Engaging Community Action Through Resources and Education. So like I said, we're a nonprofit organization that's located in Boston. We do a lot of work as far as training and education in disaster preparedness and basic first aid. We originally started in Haiti, and now we're working locally with the youth and the community to empower individuals to save lives. So I'm happy to be here. Now, Gerlitz, thanks for hosting me and having me on your 4th episode. I've been watching you guys. You guys doing excellent work. It's a wonderful platform, especially with everything that's going on today, to kind of talk about purpose, talk about life in general, because right now we're in some hard times. So definitely this is therapeutic for me. So definitely happy to be here.
Good morning. Sorry guys, my AOL dial-up is acting up, and all morning long it's raining, and so that's why I just been in and out, so I'm still on working that dial-up situations and moving, try to cut up, but not I'm kidding. But I'm happy to enjoy you guys as always, as your co-host. My name is Gerlitz Semerzier. And as you all know, 5 Reasons is based on 5 reasons: health, wealth, relationship, culture, and education. So we try to bring every week bring you guests and talk about topics around 5 core reasons. And so today, both Vonel and I were excited to have this brother on. So I know him personally for close to over 10 years now, over a decade, and we have done so many collaboration projects together, and so it's just it's an honor and privilege today I have that town hall, I would say, that connection that we need to have, not only
Yeah, so right now, Gerlitz, this is the remix of podcasting and of going live. Where he's right now doing a special trick here where he it's like a mime. What do they call him? A meme or a mime?
Yeah, it's just kind of stuck.
Yeah. So, but no. So we'll carry on. We have a look. It's live. Things happen, but this is life. But we're gonna carry on and continue with some of the information. If you wanna kind of give us a little bit of a background on sort of how you got started with your organization.
Sure.
So we have a lot of listeners who are into receiving professional development, a little bit of motivation, a little bit of how do you get out of, when you're stuck or when you're trying to get to the next level, or when you're already doing well, but you want to get to, another level. So we're going to kind of, if you want to we'll channel back and start to the early days and sort of how you first got started, and some of your obstacles. But so if you kind of give a little background on how you got started and what your background.
Perfect. So, I'll go as far as to say that I am a very proud Haitian American. I was born in Brooklyn, New York, raised in Boston. And so in my household, I was raised by my grandparents who instilled a lot of the culture of, not only who I am, but where I come from, as far as a Haitian American. And so with that being said, a lot of the work that I do stems from that upbringing and my ability to give back in that in my community, So furthermore, yeah, I mean, I grew up in Boston. I'm a Boston Red Sox fan. Sorry, Brooklyn. I mean, that's where I was born. But yeah, I mean, I grew up in Boston. My grandparents raised me, and let's see, I went to Plymouth State University, graduated with a criminal justice degree, and then and now I work in the field of law enforcement. I work for the National Police and Security. Been doing that for about 13 years, and so a little bit about the work that I do. I was in Haiti when the earthquake took place, and so my experience, not only just being there, but also going back to help out, kind of exposed me of what things that my community, and especially in Haiti, was lacking. And that was the skill set as far as learning CPR, basic first responder. A lot of the things that were going on in the country while I was there serving as a security advisor was also to provide training, and I was kind of like taken back by the lack of training, lack of education on basic skill sets. Like whether it be CPR, how to do the Heimlich, or how to put, how to I don't know, render care to someone who has a cut and so of some sort. And so my thing was, this is what I do at home back in Boston, is to kind of develop it in a way that is culturally appropriate and provide that training. And so I had a close friends that would travel with me to Haiti, and we developed these training programs that are culturally appropriate and also sustainable. Because we have a team not only here in Boston, but we have a team in Haiti that are on the ground and providing care. And so I mean that's the basis of why I started what I do. Because I mean I grew up as a Haitian American, always hearing about the disasters, the civil unrest that's taking place in Haiti, but also hearing about other people coming and doing for us. My thing was, why can't we do for ourselves, and provide those type of services? So I do what I do with passion, with love, and I do it to give back and empower my community. So I also do work here in Boston. We just launched a junior responder program where, our thing is, we need to tap into the youth, because they're going to be the people, individuals that are going to change the narrative or help change the narrative when it comes to the mindset of our community members. And so we just went online when it comes to dealing with this COVID pandemic. We went online as far as our junior responder program. We've also in Hyde Park, Mattapan, all throughout Boston, we go to these communities and provide these trainings. Some of it's free of cost, but again, just to empower the individuals and let them know what's out there for them as far as resources. So I went on a tangent, but
no, that's definitely powerful. So what I wanted to ask, so you're in Haiti, you experienced the earthquake and so forth,
yeah.
and I think that was a time when everyone, like, all eyes were on Haiti, right?
Mm-hmm.
From UN to Red Cross to the Wyclefs, Hillary Clinton,
Yeah.
what I think was big around that is there was a lot of NGOs already there, but then even after, a whole bunch of a floodgate of them.
Yeah.
How did you separate yourself from that noise and that traffic in terms of creating something that's sustainable and that isn't sort of in the funnel of all that other stuff that was happening at the time?
Yeah. So I mean, that's a great question. I mean, the best way I can answer that was that, I mean, just me being on the grounds and seeing what was going on and what's taking place. And, I went and served under NGOs, and I saw firsthand the relationship that was being built. At that time, I'm not sure what the situation is now. Haiti was viewed as the republic of NGOs. You know what I mean? So there was like more NGOs than there were like actual organizations or Haitian-led organizations on the ground. And to me, that was just
and like the Haitians say, "Salutabuegli."
Yeah, exactly. Yep. So true.
What were
And
they doing for those? Yeah.
exactly. And those are the questions that are getting answered now. And we look back at it and just like, wow, you hear reports of, and I'm not trying to throw NGOs under the bus. You hear reports of NGOs using money for overhead costs as opposed to the people that they're trying to serve. You have people going down there with their own agenda, not necessarily coordinating with other NGOs to make their projects sustainable. You know what I mean? And to me, that was heart-wrenching, because you have people dying on a day-to-day basis, and suffering and being exploited, and that to me was just like a heavy blow, and I felt like I needed to do something much more powerful and much more impactful. And I do it in a way where I'm not shunning away from NGOs. I'm an NGO myself, but in a way where I can be impactful, where it's sustainable, where I'm inclusive, when I'm gathering people, taking them by the hand and saying, this is what you need to know and how to do it, and train, empower them, give them the skill set to go out into their own community and do the same. And I think there's that, when you look at that, I think that should be the approach moving forward, and having people who are diaspora to come back and help out and help build back better. I mean, and you'll see that narrative change when it comes to the community and the response for natural disasters.
Just to piggyback on what you said, even for me back in around those times, that's one of the reasons that kind of prompted me to get involved more into nonprofit work. As not only as a board member, a consultant, and doing a lot of community work around that time, because I went to Haiti right after the earthquake. But based on what I saw, the same thing. I had the same exact experience on the ground, and trying to work with other international NGOs and see how there's a lot of resources that was being wasted on the ground. How do we coordinate more coordination effort to work to disperse those resources, to reallocate those resources where in community where it need the most. And they want to try to have that. And for me, when I came back, that's why I was on a personal mission. Just I'm going to get involved on a grassroots level and corporate level in terms to make those changes. To educate my folks, to educate those community-based organizations, to provide support for them, where they could even themselves be ready to provide the same level of effort, because there was just like a waste, when I'm talking about waste of money, waste of resources on there. They're just there for show off, just for the donors, just to show, okay, I'm doing something. Or we've been in Haiti for 60 years, 70 years, 25 years, whatever. But they don't have anything sustainable to show for it. And for me, that was my mission, to focus on that sustainability piece, and helping those smaller grassroots organizations, and by doing trainings and stuff. So I'm saying this to bridge the effort, to bridge where we start working together with your organization, with from a community level. I'm not sure, but you touched base on that earlier in regard to your involvement during the COVID this year. Can you talk to us? Because I know we had personal discussion, ongoing discussion, how to move forward and things like that. So I wanted you to share with the general audience your work with Epicare in regard to this year with the COVID.
Definitely. So yeah, like Lynch, if anything, the trials and tribulations that Epicare has undergone in regards to our growth. Like I said, 10 years ago we were Haitian, well, not sorry, Healthcare Security International. And with consulting with you, we made the wise decision of changing the name to make it more community based, and it's been wonderful. But with that being said, all the work that we've done over the years, we've been to Costa Rica, we've been to Bahamas, we've been to Haiti, we've been all parts of the world, sharing this training, which has been very well received. More so where we're working side by side with Project Hope, working with Mass General and having that everlasting impact. And so everything was going really well up until I want to say March of this year, and things just kind of went to a drastic halt. But just know that, you know, working as a nonprofit, working as an entrepreneur, you need to always be on your toes when it comes to creativity in situations such as that. And so my team, which is a wonderful team, boy, we kind of sat down and it was like, you know what, let's really think about ways to continue doing what we're doing, but with everything that's going on, you know, and that's, you know, one of it was going online. And we just got done doing an online junior responder program where we're teaching people how to do CPR. You know, we're improvising, we're showing them how to use, make their own mannequins with using a towel and a blanket and a toilet paper, you know, and simulating that and making sure that they're doing it effectively through Zoom, you know, and just being creative, going back to the basics and making it always sustainable and fun for those who are receiving the training, and then also culturally appropriate, you know. And so our tactic has always been just to listen to the community, hear what it is that they need and what's missing, and put them and gel them together using the resources that we have and what don't have, and taking it from there. So online has been the route that we've been going, and it's been successful, and we're looking to kind of hopefully maintain that all throughout.
All right. I know you had a question, V. Go ahead. I know you were.
So I know we're kind of fast forwarding, going back to the future, and then back again to the present, and then future and past. So, we were talking about the whole NGO route and sort of the work in Haiti and the sustainability of it, and you kind of you spoke through that part.
Yeah.
What would you say was your biggest challenge, and how you overcame it?
My biggest challenge was in Haiti. How can I put this? So I'm Haitian American, right? My first time visiting Haiti was during the time of the earthquake. So I really wasn't. My first time visiting there was when that disaster struck, and so my role coming in trying to have the impact that I wanted to have, kind of took a slow, it's like a slow journey. Because one, I wasn't viewed as a true Haitian in Haiti, and two, you know, like I was a Jasper, you know what I mean? I was a blanc. They call me blanc, believe it or not. I was blanc in Haiti.
No matter what shade of skin you have, you just blanc.
Look, you just blanc. And I remember the first time I heard that, and I was like, "What?" I was like, "What are you talking about?" And then, and it just made sense. I mean, it was like me walking in the room, and it's me having my cell phone, it's me having these resources available to me, and these individuals not having that, you know. And at the end of the day, when they're all said and done, I get to go back home to the States, you know, and do what Blanc do. You know what I mean? So I was taken back for it, and so it was hard for me to kind of, you know, build trust within that community and get their buy-in. You know what I'm saying? Because they're used to the true Blanc coming down there with their own agenda and coming in and telling them what to do and how to do it. But when you have someone who of my stature, you're thinking about, wow, this person's coming here to take my job. And he's not even a true Haitian. He's not even from here. You know what I mean? And so that's some of the things that I think, you know, that was kind of hard for me to kind of overcome. But it came with just, you know, like I said, building relationships, building trust, and being transparent, you know, all throughout.
Now, another thing, just to follow up kind of on the journey through navigating through Haiti, you know, especially as a, you know, Jasper, Blanc, whatever you want to call yourself.
Yeah.
So when you step into Haiti, I mean, you grew up with American, as much as you might have a Haitian family, Haitian parents, it's a very different situation in Haiti, right? In terms of like on the ground level with the people, whole different situation. And you realize from the history, the education, the politics, the health, environmental things, there's so many layers of issues, right? And depending on, you know, who you speak to, there's different priorities. right?
Definitely.
Things from basic water and sanitation to schooling to religion, you know, how Christianity and voodoo and other religions play impact into mindset. How did you decide of all the things, plus of course this is the earthquake, so you have some physical infrastructure issues, but
Definitely.
once you land, you realize, wait a minute, this is bigger than just an earthquake, right?
Yeah.
This is bigger than just injury and needing doctors and nurses. You have psychological damage, right? Mental damage. You have emotional damage. You have trauma. You have, you know, education issues and nutrition. How did you decide, you know what, I'm going to decide on this to focus on? And
Definitely.
especially when there's hundreds of years of history of issues, plus
Definitely.
current issues, and all these layers.
Definitely. That's a really good question. I think one of the pivotal moments that I've had as far as implementation of my ideas of what I think would be best suit and to pursue was my relationship built with my co-founder. You know what I mean? I'm a co-founder of Epicare. So my other co-founder is from Haiti, you know, and he had the same passion that I had in regards to vision for Haiti, you know, and so and this is an individual who's well known in the community. He knows the ins and outs, and he was raised there. So if it wasn't for the relationship that I've established with him and the impact that he's had in the community, which has been very positive as far as not being to the left as far as politics and stuff like this, really straight down the line. I think it would have been really hard to kind of implement a lot of the things that we had in store for Haiti, you know. And so I think, just like I said, being transparent, being honest with individuals that you're dealing with goes a long way. You know, I'm sure. I mean, you hear stories about people, you know, coming out and being exploited, and I really didn't want to go that route. I really didn't want to go into politics. I'm here to do this training. This is what training is going to do for you in the long run, and that's what we've been that's been our message when it comes to, you know, having the impact that we have. If that makes sense.
Definitely.
Absolutely.
So, and then with that, I would say, you know, in deciding that, is the next thing is how do you decide how much level of commitment you can have? Like, I mean, this is true to running business in general, but when you have an organization that's a passion, right? It's a passion project first, because this is your culture, this is your ancestry. But then, you know, you have to put food on the table, right? You got to feed yourself, put clothes, feed. So how do you decide how much time you're able to allocate towards it? And then how do you, and then, oh yeah, I'll let you say that.
No, go ahead.
And then just knowing when you've made progress, right? Like, what are the goals to say, you know what, we've actually made progress versus we're just another NGO that's just twiddling our thumb and, you know, doing things.
Definitely. So great. That's a great question. So to answer that, I mean, you always have to have some type of goal. You know, I mean, with your purpose and passion, you have to have some type of goal and benchmark, right? And so my goal is to eventually not have to run Epicare. You know what I mean? I want Haiti to have its own Epicare organization where they run for them. But in order for me to get there, there's some things I need to accomplish, right? And so in order for me to accomplish that, I need to set these type of goals and achieve them, and then get that satisfaction of achieving it and then moving forward. You know, like I said, I grew up Haitian American. On the dark side of things, it was hard, you know, in the States, growing up Haitian American. You know, I've heard the stories of, you know, Haitian body order. You know how many fights I got into hearing those type of terminology, and that used to vex me. You know, when I hear people talking about, oh, Haiti is, you hear it now, Haitians eat trees. I mean, like, that's not true. What are you talking about?
All this kind of crap.
All that stuff. And to me, that always drove me to like make a difference and make that change. And I've always kept that in the back of my mind. And that's who made me the person that I am right now. And so when it comes to, you know, my goals, you know, as far as accomplishments. Hey, listen, I'm not going to get rich from this organization. Especially the work that I'm doing. If you're in here to get rich, then you're in the wrong ball game. It's bigger than me. It's bigger than me as far as what I, maybe I won't reap the rewards until after I'm dead and gone. But at the end of the day, I want to change that narrative that I grew up fighting my whole entire life. And so that's my approach. That's always been my approach. And also, with that being said, you always need to know self, and take care of self, and so there'll be days where I'm like, I'm tired, I can't do any more epic care work, but I have a wonderful team that are always going to continue to push, and so that allows me to take that deep breath and debrief and come back even stronger, so we're in a very unique situation where that allows me that opportunity to do that.
Now, what's next for Epicare? What do we have to look forward to? So I'm saying this in terms of for the next couple of years, giving everything that you have been accomplished over the past decade or so. Looking forward for the next decade. What legacy are you trying to establish for Epicare?
Well, legacy. Well, I'm really. All right, so I see this as two questions. All right, so my legacy, for Epicare is more or less is that to give the opportunity for Jasper to go back, because that's what's going to change that narrative. I'm all about changing the narrative, and in order for that narrative to change, is for us to come together and work together. Like Lynch, you're doing wonderful jobs. We've collaborated on projects. A lot of the stuff that if it wasn't for our collaboration, we wouldn't be able to do. I wouldn't be able to do independently. You know what I'm saying, and have the impact that I had within the country. And so, just showing proof that collaboration does work, we can be trusted and go back and give back. That to me is what I'm pushing for. But as far as legacy, like I said, I'm trying to make sure we, when change does take place, that people can take that as a blueprint and start their own NGOs, who are Haitian Americans. There's a lot of people that's like, I'm scared, I don't want to go back. Oh, it's impossible to work. No, it is possible. Me, I was 29 years old when I first stepped foot in Haiti, and a lot of work that we're doing is very impactful in a sense where if I didn't take that first step and if I didn't lead with that passion, Epicare wouldn't be where it's at right now, and we have a lot of success stories where people come back to us and say, hey, listen, I was able to save my father's life, and that's why I do what I do, is to have that impact, so.
Just a quick follow-up question. I know, in fact, that one of the major overall goal of Epicare is really to establish a training institute. And I might be biased to say that because you and I, together on that front. So why don't you talk about, give the people the vision of because as you know, right now the current infrastructure in terms of medical infrastructure in the country, it's very challenging. Definitely. And we have a lot of people, a lot of young people that want to get into the healthcare field, but they don't have the proper trainings. And one of the key thing that Epicare is doing is really to go back, travel back and train young Haitians, has the desire, who's been who's in college, ready to be in medicine and different fields, to give them that side training, medical technician trainings, as part of, hands-on training to help, to be a resource in the community. For example, the CPR training that you're doing, that could help someone save life in the neighborhood. Why don't you talk about that piece before we jump into our next segment?
Yeah. All right. So in Akan, my father's from Akan, Haiti, and so he was very gracious to donate about 2 acres of land. And with that property, we're getting ready to develop a training facility. That training facility will have 3-pronged approach when it comes to, one, will be educating and training the youth in Haiti as far as disaster preparedness and education. Two, it'll be a treatment center, a primary care facility for mothers and children, to kind of get treated there. And also it'll have a helipad capability, but also be used as a command center for future disasters. So if there's a disaster, we can use that as a command center as far as coordinating resources and bringing people from and to disaster sites. And so our goal was to break ground in 2020 with COVID. That kind of put things to a halt, but we're looking to pick things back up in 2021 when things when new norm takes place.
All right. I don't know. V, you have anything else you want to add before we jump?
No. I think we're doing good. Once again, for people who just tuned in, I see some new folks on the different lives and the different shares. Thank you for tuning in. We know it's Saturday afternoon, a lot of things you can be doing, but you're here. Just wanted to say shout out to everybody on Facebook, on YouTube, and listening. You're here with the 5 Reasons Brand LLC live podcast, episode number 4. We're here with Harold Roy, and we're here with Gerlitz. And so we're just sharing some information about starting NGOs, about the trials and tribulations of an organization, and just the journey. So just wanted to, do a little thank you. And then I did want to take a second to pay some bills and thank our sponsors. First and foremost, we do have 5 Reasons. That's the number one sponsor of this program. So we thank you for allowing us to do what we do. Girls, you want to mention a couple others? Right before we continue?
Webprint Lab, of course, for all your printing solutions, anything, business card, webs, graphic design, your website, anything, web related or multimedia related, check them out. Webprint Lab, you can go on the website. Of course, my man V is on there. You could check them out. And if you mention the promo code 5 Reason, that'll give you that 10% automatic 10% discount. So I definitely take advantage of that. If you want your business card print out, or you want your T-shirt print out, hit them up. V will take care of you. Also, New England Christian Television Network. You could download the app NECTN. Go on Google Play or go on iTunes. You could download it. The only New England Christian Television Network, 24/7 programming, stream live. You could get them on Roku or Amazon Fire Stick, and also Focus Entertainment. For all your wedding and video solution, photos, videos, any type of event. Check them out as well. Those are our sponsors for now. As we segue into the next segment, as you know that you guys know as what's been going on in the recent police shooting, that's been going on. I know as Black men, I'm not trying to take away from what we're doing today, but we still need to acknowledge that as Black men, what's going on in regard to police brutality. And I know Walt, both and I, I had the privilege to work with Walt as well, and as police and security over Mass General Hospital as well. So, from that law enforcement background. So we want to address that, have a conversation in terms of our feelings and stuff. So it's going to be like, Walt, I just laid out for you. What's your take on the current issue? How do you feel?
My take
as a father, as a man, as a Black man, and in general.
In general, I think right now we're going through some tough times. It's really tough being a Black man in America right now. With everything that's taking place on the TV screens. And it's just not that's just the police brutality or whatever it may be, but it's just like in general, everything that's going on that involves race and the divide. I think we're just in a tough situation where it needs to be addressed, and a lot of it is lived through the TV screens, and I feel like voices aren't being heard, and when that's not being addressed, then you know, all that gets built up, and what you're seeing on TV right now is what's going to take place, you know. And it doesn't help when it's after one thing after another, things are getting broadcasted, and justice is taking a slow process to be served, you know. And so when you have that, and the media is race baiting, and you got people throwing politics involved, and we're missing the underlying picture. There's a lot of trauma taking place, with people watching this stuff, and absorbing it. Kids not going to school, and so they're watching this on TV screens, and so we need to be very cognizant of that, and try to address that.
No, definitely. I definitely agree with you on that, on that front. Even myself, as a father, where I have my 8-year-old questioning me in terms of like, hey, daddy, are you gonna be safe on the road? Or like you're out and calling you, no, daddy, are you okay? Would
Yeah.
you come in okay? And what if that happened? No, I'm scared for you. When you have your son is to tell you those things and absorbing the same information that's been displayed on TV and stuff, really to kind of touch you. And even for me, I as well, just like every time that I'm on the road, it's just like that always back in the back of my hand, in my head. And now you have something worry, you become traumatized.
Yeah.
It wasn't a time like you would worry about getting into an accident, so that would prevent you, to come home. But now, just like, hey, as a black man, when you first time you're on the road, you're stepping outside, you worry about, getting into that particular confrontation, so
Definitely.
you automatically traumatized and things. Am I going to be home? So if I got pulled over, is that it for my? No, I have to comfort in certain ways and things like that. So that really create a whole different trauma level of trauma for us black men.
Mhm.
And just when you think, okay, things will get better, or we are on the right path, having that conversation, but it's just like something, it's
Yeah.
one thing after the other that keep on happening. It's just like, yo, where do we go from here? When does it stop? It's just like, you feel like my life is no longer safe. You're like, a dog, like, we'll talk, a dog life in America is more valuable than a black man, especially when confronted with law enforcement. And even if you're as a law enforcement personnel, it's just like you still going to be in confrontation with your with your colleague or someone else, outside, because you're just like they automatically seen you, like, what they see is just like, hey, he's a violent, like, they associated black men with violence, or they associated black men with criminals. They don't really care about who you are, your education. Even before, it's just like the minute they approach you, it's just like, hey, you're a criminal.
Yeah.
That's the mentality. So how do we, maybe, how do we move from there? How do we change the narrative? What can we do to change the narrative? What do you think, Vic?
So, I mean, my comments to that is that, I mean, one, someone who served as a police officer for over 13 years, not all officers are bad. Not all officers
I agree.
go out there with the intentions of killing someone. You may have a bad apple here and there. You may have a bad situation here and there, but not all are for that purpose. I mean, with that being said, it's very hard to be a police officer, especially at time of day. Like I said, when I wake up to go to work, I don't have the intentions of maiming or killing anyone. But when you're in a situation where you have to make a split decision, it's all eyes on you, especially with people pulling out their phones. They may take up they may take up from the point where it goes bad, and the next day is Judgment Day. So with that said, I know it's very hard to be a police officer, and and um and for me, right, I'm a black police officer. I go out there and do my job with dignity and pride. I got into this working field because of my mentor. He was a black officer, and I was kind of like, holy crap. And I looked up to him because he was looked at in the community as someone of good moral, good decision. And I wanted to emulate that, and that's what made me go into that field. But with that being said, what's been going on and what's been highlighted is really tough. I mean, that with everything that's going on, you got people calling. You see people videotaping that another black guy gets the cops called on him because he's in this neighborhood. You know what I mean? I think right now the community, the in the U.S. is working on fair, and something needs to take place when it comes to addressing that. And yeah, it's just a really tough situation, really tough thing. But yeah.
Yeah. For me, man, a couple things. I think I definitely agree with Roy's point. We grew up in Cambridge where, like, at the YMCA, all of the cops were coaches. So, and then, there were coaches. We had a DARE program where, like, they would come into schools and, talk to us. So we were fortunate where on one end, we knew that cops were good. We knew that there was some, like, majority of good quality cops. But then it's just the story of every young black dude. We've all been followed unnecessarily. Yep. We've all been pulled over for something that, we probably shouldn't be, or that's not something. We've all been, and then some extremes, been pulled guns out on, and, falsely accused, and all these things. Like, this is like a regular story, one out of, like, it's not, I don't know. I mean, I'm sure you've gone through it. We've all gone through it. Now, the thing for me, though, in this day and age, of course, you can debate the likelihood of being shot by police. Probably not like, like every black dude who walks out is about to get shot. I don't think that's like a high. But what's more problematic for me especially as a marketing person, is this image of blacks being shot, killed, and left for dead on primetime television. This has become a normal thing.
Yep.
I don't remember the last time I've seen a white woman get killed on live TV, on primetime television. I don't see images of white women, white men, or any other Asian. I don't see them dying, being shot. It's just not shown. And when it is, it's a documentary, and they say, there's a disclaimer before it's being shown, right? But as black men, it's almost normal now. You can pull up, you pull up any news, CNN, Fox, ABC, and it's very easy to see images of us being shot, dying, and dead on open television. And so that part in itself, whether, however you want to look at it, whatever side of the coin you're on, that has to do something to the psyche of not just us, but just anybody who's just, if you're just tuning in and you see this happening over and over again, now it's like psychologically you're like, well, there must be a reason, right? Like, they must be bad. They're always getting into problems, and or their lives really don't matter, because just like a dog, just like an ant, you can just step on them and it's whatever. You know what I mean? There's no value to them. There's no, like, you know what? We can't show these bodies just being shot and being dead. Like, normal, like, you wouldn't show other kind of, we would say it's too graphic. You wouldn't show a cat being run over by a car, right? It happens every day. Dogs, cats get hit by cars, but you don't show that, right? You don't. It's not on primetime television and front page. We show cute cats. We show dogs looking cute and fun, but we don't show them dying and being run over and roadkill and injured, and you know what I'm saying? So that's just my own thing, that we've come to a place in 2020 where it's normal to see black men get shot and killed, and that part is troublesome.
Definitely, it is. And so I mean, with that being said, it's just like, what do we do? I mean, like, what do we do to kind of We're going out there. Some of us are going out there protesting peacefully. Some people are out there doing what they do as far as like causing destruction and rioting.
Yeah.
You know, some people say let's defund police. You know, I think we need more police. But if anything, let's reform. Right? There should be a way to kind of like, okay, you know, that this officer, he did something, he needs to go into the investigation, but it needs to be immediate. It can't be this prolonged where we're going out marching, and then after we march, that's when you're bringing that person in and terminating.
Well, here's the thing, and not to put you on the spot, but
yeah.
How much training do you get before you start and they give you the badge and the gun and you're on the streets? How much time?
So there's theater training where you got to go to the police academy. You go to the police academy. You know what I mean? Once you accomplish that, and they want you, as far as someone who's accomplished that, then you're out in the field. But you're not out in the field with a senior who's teaching you the ways and stuff like that. But I'm gonna tell you something right now. I mean, the reason why I brought that, it's very hard to be a police officer because one, when you're responding to calls, not one call is always the same. You know, you deal with people who were possibly mentally ill. You're dealing with people who are probably emotionally, you know, disturbed, whether it be something that they've tragically seen or whatever it may be. So as far as responding to a scene, you know, just know that you're gonna have to be somebody's therapist. You're gonna have to be somebody's, you know, therapist. You're gonna have to be somebody's, you know, punching bag, right? Because when you get there, some people emotions will be rampant. But it's up to me as far as the training that I receive and my experience on how I respond to that. And if you're not equipped with that, then you're gonna be, I mean, nervous. Your decision is it's gonna be cloudy, and you're not gonna make the best decision. And so, and too often, you know, we look at a footage and we're like, oh wow, this person did wrong. Yeah, but you know, like also I think human responses to certain situations may lead to someone's decision, you know, which I'm saying again, not all cops are bad. Sometimes somebody might be having a bad day, you know. But with that being said, all too often, like you said, Ronell, we see that black male getting shot and killed. We see that person getting shot and killed, and it's a prolonged response when it comes to justice being served. And I think that right there has a whirlwind of effect when it comes to trauma. You know what I mean? Like, damn, I'm scared. I mean, am I get pulled over, and is this cop gonna shoot me? You know what I mean? Like, that's a true fear. I mean, like come on. And the opposite, the other thing is like this person's scared of me. What do you think? I mean, like it's just right there. We just kind of need to take a step back, address what's going on in the world, and have a leader come out and speak on it. And then what we're gonna do from there? What's the next steps? You
know. Yeah. Speaking of the next steps, we have a couple of questions from online from the Facebook group. One question says, question by Joanne, and she said, "What can we do as a community to make our voice heard effectively?" I think that's a great question. What can we do as a community to make our voice heard effectively? I think one of them is, you know, voting. It's the key, because remember the DA, the people that we elected, you know, who's going to prosecute those cases, you know, they'll make those decisions. Those people are elected officials. Even some of the sheriff, or like, you know, the mayors, you know, the local politicians, you know. So we have, you know, the local what we call councilmen, you know. So we're responsible for those people because they're the one who's hiring, especially with the police chief. They're the one who's hiring the police chief. They're the one who's, you know, making those calls. So it's really important to, that's one way to put pressure on those individuals. And if they're not doing their job, gotta vote them. No, take notes. No, get out there, make noise to try to get them out of office, to really bring attention to the matter, because, you know, they're not there for the people. You know, they got elected by the people to do the people's job. So once they're not doing that, they're only looking out for themselves. So it's time for them to go. Second thing too is just like, you know, as for me as a community guy, it's just like you gotta bring the community together on a coalition front, by participating or other organization that's been grassroots organization that doing work in the community. They need to come together and have community meetings, town hall meetings with those police chiefs, with those with the members of the communities, those police leadership, like the sergeant or whoever, and community police officers and stuff. They need to, put pressure on them, bring them into the conversation, require, this is the change that we need in our community. We don't need a white police officer with no cultural competency to patrol our neighborhoods. We need a black police officer who understand our culture, who understand our community, to be, to patrol the community. So we as community members, those are the change that we need to communicate, to those people, to make those effective change. I don't know what you think, Roy.
I mean, yeah, I think you hit it right in the head when it comes to as far as what the community can do, voting, getting the people that represents the community out there and being voiced, so that they can work in policy that benefits everyone in general. And two, yeah, engaging your police, having them involved in a sense where they're out there and having positive interaction, is also key. But there's plenty of things you can do. I mean, hey, listen, if you want to go out and protest peacefully, protest peacefully. You're right, and you're right. You have a constitutional right to do so. But I think it's when things get to the point where there's violence and stuff involved. But with that being said, we got to be very cognizant as far as the things that's going on. Need to be very sensitive. Be mindful of what you say, because my perspective is going to be different from somebody else's perspective. I've had people who say, "Hey, my father was killed by a cop." So I can only imagine what that generation of individuals is perceived, and taken into consideration. I didn't had that experience, but just can only imagine. And so when you see that stuff on live TV, it only triggers that trauma, and then you get the response that you see right now in the community. But always go out to your legislator, vote, get the people that needs to be in office, be of office. You don't have to be a black police officer to have a very positive impact in the black community. As long as you know the culture and understand the culture, and you listen to the people in the community that you're policing, you can be very successful. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I definitely agree. That's a problem. We have one police officer policing our community that they understand. They just put them there and just throw them in the community, and just as a job. They're just doing it, quote unquote, as a job, but not really as a as a passion to understand the voice of the community. And I know for me, I've been very, very vocal for those of you who follow me on Facebook and on Twitter. I mean, I've been very vocal about that particular issue, police brutality and stuff. I'm not scared of it. I'm not shying away from it to express my feelings, so I've been from the both side. Matter of fact, you put me on, I gotta, give you the kudos when you brought me on MGH, from Police and Security, so had the pleasure to work with the team over there. So, so from that perspective, front, I understand. But also from the community front, I'm from the community, so it's just that, hey, my community come first, before my job, because at the end of the day, this is where I'm going back, So for somebody else, they're just going to their own community, like living their own life. So this is my community. Why would I hurt my own community and stuff? So I have to take a stand. I have to take responsibility, for those. There was a second question by Brenda. Is there a mental health issue? Is there a mental health test? I'm not sure what she mean by that, but I know
maybe for officers, maybe.
Yeah, for the officers. I know, doing the part of you have to go for a psychological evaluation training in order to become a police officer. That's part of it, and ongoing and things. But no, yes, I'm not. There are many officers who's on the job. They have mental health issues. That is a given because it's a very, very stressful job, and I think there should be more ongoing. I think some police department are pushing for that ongoing, evaluation, psychological evaluations, just to make sure, that mental health, peace of mind is there, to help them to do their job. So, but the problem is it's more on the union side, where you're going to find that obstacles. They're not going to want to have some police department already having that fight with the unions because they don't want their officers to be going to evaluation, monthly evaluation, psychological evaluation test, and some of them don't feel like they need. And which of them, a lot of them, they do need it because there's pressure. Some of them bringing personal, whatever going in their personal life to the job, having marital issues and things. So they just take it out on other folks on the job because they out there, they take it on the community. They're not being mindful enough and just like, yo, I gotta keep my problem aside. But it's just like they mix it and just, that as a result, that's what we're seeing now. I don't know what you want to add on that, Howard.
Yeah, I mean, as far as the mental side, I mean, each police department, I mean, from what I've been exposed to, have their way of kind of having some type of mental evaluation. But yeah, that's the initial. But I mean, what's going on to maintain that throughout? Because some people's mindset can change. And yeah, I think when it comes to training education, I'm big on that. I'm big on individuals going through that. I'm an instructor for managing aggressive behavior, which is like de-escalation tactics. So I've kind of mastered my techniques when it comes to evaluating someone and using skill sets to kind of de-escalate before I even have to go hands-on, because at the end of the day, I'm trying to go home to my family, and so whatever it is that I do and say is going to pertain to that. I'm going to give you the best, my best me when it comes to securing and making sure that people feel safe, but at the same time, it's going to be in a way that it's going to de-escalate and make sure that that safety is maintained throughout the interaction. And so, and you know what? There's some officers out there that are power trips. They want to make sure that that they wear the badge. And so maybe there needs to be a process as far as filtering that and redirecting that. But I'm not here to speak on the different police departments that are going on. Me as an individual, I know why I got into this field, which is the impact that I can have in my community, and I'm gonna continue to do so, whether you like me for doing that or not, but that's my take on that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, definitely. As mentioned, again, to answer Brenda's question, yes, before you become a police officer, there is a psychological evaluation test. That's thing on it. You have to do it, in order to become a police officer. To become an officer. So, that's part of it. I'm just trying to read the if there's any more questions. Okay, there's another question. So they don't repeat certain training. Certain things. Okay. There was another question. If the police officers, if they don't repeat certain trainings or certain testing ever again throughout the year, it depends on the department. Some departments, you have ongoing trainings. They are recertification trainings that you have to maintain. For example, for your firearm certification, you have to repeat that. You have to go to training for that. And physical testing, there's certain things you have to do on a yearly basis, some just like every 2 years, just like you have for your CPR test. There's as there are ongoing testing going, trainings going, requirement, and you have to attend those trainings in order to keep your certifications that point blank. That's one of them that's really missing, is that the diversity, understand the cultural diversity training, which many police department don't really care for or whatever. So if they feel like, if I'm serving this primarily wealthy white community, there's no need for me to take any cultural diversity trainings, because or even if I'm serving, Boston, they don't have those particular requirements, but there are certain, requirement trainings. But I definitely agree that there needs to be more, with everything that's going on now. There will need to be more cultural diversity, cultural sensitivity, and cultural awareness. Understand the community you serve, and that's one of the major weaknesses that I see in many different and community policing. The idea of community policing was, to really establish a relationship with the community, but many departments fail to do that. They just want to be visible, just like, hey, we're working. I just want to let you know that we're here. So it's not about the relationship; it's more about showing the power in our community. Unfortunately, yeah. I don't know if you want to jump on that now, Boyd.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, from my exposure in the field, is that the training is readily available, but that training doesn't necessarily avoid your bias and your thoughts too, right? So case by case, I mean, I can see the training, I can say I checked up off on it, but am I really gonna put it into play in the real world, and so but yeah, I mean, it's up to the individual. I can sit there and say I took a cultural competency class and still be in my ways when I leave the course, so it's yeah, I mean, training has to be consistent. There has to be a level of competency when it comes to completing it, and who's keeping those individuals accountable. It's the public, the people, and when something does happen, it should be into consideration when it comes to the response and community being heard. So,
all right, as we on time, let's take it back to what we started, in terms of AP care. As we keep, so we want to bring it back. No, it was a great conversation, because really, we had to touch base on those issues going on. It affects us as a Black man in a society, and so that's one of the reasons that we had to take some time out to really talk about it, because it's not issues we could just brush under the table. But no, those are issues impacting us as a community and impacting our communities, us as a Black man as well. So we want to take it back to AP Care. So as we're closing, what is your 5 reasons for AP Care, basically?
All right. So my 5 reasons why I started AP Care.
Yes.
So so purpose, right? I mean, everybody has that what WTF moment, like what the hell am I doing? What is my purpose in life? And I think my experience, growing up and always wanting to go back and help out, is the purpose is why I started AP Care, and that I have that opportunity. And I want to say that I'm doing a good job at that, given that the team that I have, but that's been my purpose, Number 2, like I said, also opportunity to give back to the family, community. I have 3 beautiful baby girls and a son who's 20, who just turned 22. And, as a role model, I would like to let them know, they can do anything that they want in this world, as long as they are passionate about what they do, and they do it with integrity, and, and with transparency and responsibility. They can do anything, accomplish anything, Number 3 is to empower. I've always been one to, I stand by, never forget where you come from. And then if you get to a certain situation, always reach back and help out, and I do that by empowering. I give people skills and train them. And that conversation can be from, hey, how to save lives, to, hey, listen, how did you do this? What made you decide to do that? And as a Haitian American, as a first generation Haitian American, I'm too familiar with those struggles, that pressure, and so I can only hope that I can be an individual role model in that sense, and say if I can do it, then you can do it as well. So never forget where you come from. And five, I always want to change that narrative. Like I said, growing up, I grew up fighting. You know what I mean? And it was because I'm from Haitian, and my parents who migrated over here. I was always picked on. And I always wanted to change that narrative. Haiti's a beautiful culture, beautiful country. I highly recommend people to go down there and visit. Don't believe what you hear and see on TV. As far as struggles, there's beautiful parts of Haiti that when I'm there, I'm like, damn, this is I don't want to leave. You know what I mean? But yeah, those are my 5 reasons, and I will continue to do what I'm doing with those in mind. So,
V, anything to add? We approach to the close.
No, listen, man. It's definitely. I'm glad we had Roy on. Definitely some great stuff. A good perspective coming from the law enforcement plus, black man first,
yeah,
Asian black man first, and then that NGO approach. So definitely want to thank you for joining the podcast today. I think you made number 4 very special. And again, thank you all the listeners as well, because they tuned in and they make this all possible. Yeah, man, I think it's all good. I don't want to repeat what we've already said. You'll have to catch the replay if you missed it or you missed the beginning of this podcast. We will have it available on YouTube and on Facebook. So just keyword 5 Reasons brand, and you'll be able to access this whole episode and all our other 3 episodes.
Definitely.
All right. Go ahead.
Yeah, so with that being said, I just want to thank Vanell Gerlins. Thank you guys for having me and sharing your platform, allowing me to talk about my passion and the work that Epicare does. It's these type of platforms, these conversations that's much needed within the community that's going to kind of open everyone's eyes and keep pursuing the ultimate goal. And that's a community with health, wealth, and prosperity. So I want to thank you guys for allowing me to share. So,
my brother, thank you very much for the work you do.
There's one more thing. Can you let folks know how to get in touch with you if they want to learn more about Epicare, about the organization? If you can just plug in the website, the social media handles.
For sure. So our website is www.epicare.org. The spelling is EPECARE.org. And you want to get us on Twitter. Twitter handle is I think it's like @Epicare_Inc. And so please feel free to reach out. Like I said, we're here in Boston. We travel places, and like I said, we're just here to empower individuals. So support us. None of what we do wouldn't be possible without our supporters, donations. Because we provide gear. We although we do volunteer, but in order to keep doing what we're doing, we need the support. So
okay. And then not to one more last question too.
Yeah.
If somebody who doesn't have that much time on their hands and they don't know much about the organization, but they want to help, what's the one first thing, simple thing that you can ask someone to do to help Epicare?
To help Epicare, spread the word.
Okay.
Spread the word. Spread the word and direct them to our website. The website will kind of explain everything in detail as far as ways you can do it, whether it be donating or sponsoring an emergency kit bag, or just broadcasting our trainings. We do link those up to our website. And so the more people in the know and that are educated, the more impact we'll have. So
sounds good.
All right, my brother. Thank you very much. It's been a pleasure having you, man. And we'll continue to work together. Definitely you're welcome to come anytime to the podcast again. We'll be more than happy to have you, and we're sure I'm pretty sure you will be in any some future episode. So it's been an honor, and thank you for your time. And I want to thank all the listeners, all who's been on YouTube, those who's been watching on YouTube as well. All those viewers, keep sharing, Thank you for supporting us. Keep on sharing the live and share the information with someone. If reach out to us if there's anything that we can help you as well. Our website is 5reason.life, LIFE. So you could check us out and see the work that we the work that we're doing, and also you could call us at 857-209-4984. 857-209-4984. If you have any questions, anything that you wanna, you could reach out to us. Also, like us on Facebook, 5 Reason Brand. You could check our Facebook page, our videos, and there share with someone, and also our IG page, Instagram page is 5 Reason Brand. Also, you could give us a like over there too as well. We try to increase our viewership and stuff. So we want to thank you for your support. And as always, at the end of every show, we always give something. So I believe that the 5 Reason book could be a blessing to someone, and so I would love to reach out to you. Let me see who's still in here. So let me see. Okay, we still have a few people still watching the live. So if you're still in here, send me an email. The first 5 email that I got, that person was going to receive a t-shirt and a book. Info at 5reason.live. Info 5 at 5reason.live. If you reach out to me, I get your email, I will email you. I will send you a copy of the 5 Reason book and also the 5 Reason t-shirts. So everything we do, the 5 Reason is based on health, wealth, relationship, culture, and education. Those are the 5 reasons that we know. Everything we do with 5 reasons based on those categories. Those are our 5 pillars. So again, thank you for your time. Thank you, Roy, and God bless. Stay safe. And V, thank you for my brother.
Always a pleasure.
Appreciate you. So we'll do this again next week. Everyone else,
channel, same bad time.
Same time, 1 p.m. Have a great one.
Have a good one, guys.
Yeah. Oh, my fault. Whoa, wait. And then as we do have a fallen soldier. Oh my God, I have to at least mention his name.
Yes,
we did lose Chadman Boswin. For the folks who don't know him, the guy who played the main character in Wakanda. He's played Jackie Robinson. He's played all types of characters. But rest in peace. He died from colon cancer, very young age at 43. So just wanted to shout out to him. Rest in peace.
Yeah, and the new feature, I think, following that, maybe that's in the following one of our podcasts. We're gonna, do a special podcast about men's health.
Yeah.
Those are because as Black men, colon cancer, prostate cancer, those are things that you're seeing affecting Black men, aside from police brutality, police killing.
Next time. We will open up the can next time, okay?
So that we will have a special show regarding
cancer and health is a lot higher than the other stuff.
Yeah. But
you can't even put it on the same scale.
Yeah, but we're gonna definitely focus.
Yeah, we'll address that. All right, but we don't want to take too much. The sponsors have they've been tapping and said, okay, you know what, they're about to pull the plug.
Yeah.
Run out.
All right, guys.
Have a good one.
Yeah, have a good one. Thanks.